Polysemy is the capacity for a sign to have multiple meanings, usually related by contiguity of meaning within a semantic field. It is thus usually regarded as distinct from homonymy, in which the multiple meanings of a word may be unconnected or unrelated. Charles Fillmore and Beryl Atkins unregistered trademark definition stipulates three elements. The various senses of a polysemous word have a central origin, the links between these senses form a network, and understanding the inner unregistered trademark 1 contributes to understanding of the out or unregistered trademark 1. Polysemy is a pivotal concept within disciplines such as media studies and linguistics. The analysis of polysemy, synonymy, and hypernymy is vital to taxonomy and ontology and the information science senses of those terms. It has applications in pedagogy and machine learning, because they rely on word sense disambiguation and schemas. Polysemes. A polyseme is a word or phrase with different, but related senses. Since the test for polysemy is the vague concept of relatedness, judgments of polysemy can be difficult to make. Because applying pre-existing words to new situations is a natural process of language change, looking at words' etymology is helpful in determining polysemy but not the only solution. As words become lost in etymology, what once was a useful distinction of meaning may no longer be so. Some apparently unrelated words share a common historical origin, however, so etymology is not an infallible test for polysemy, and dictionary writers also often defer to speakers' intuitions to judge polysemy in cases where it contradicts etymology. English has many words which are polysemous. For example, the verb to get can mean procure, become, understand, etc. In vertical polysemy, a word refers to a member of a subcategory. A closely related idea is metonym, in which a word with one original meaning is used to refer to something else connected to it. There are several tests for polysemy, but one of them is tsimmer. If one word seems to exhibit tsimmer when applied in different contexts, it is likely that the contexts bring out different polysemes of the same word. If the two senses of the same word do not seem to fit, yet seem related, then it is likely that they are polysemous. The fact that this test again depends on speakers' judgments about relatedness, however, means that this test for polysemy is not infallible, but is rather merely a helpful conceptual aid. The difference between homonyms and polysemes is subtle. Lexicographers define polysemes within a single dictionary lemma, numbering different meanings, while homonyms are treated in separate lemmata. Semantic shift can separate a polysemous word into separate homonyms. For example, checkers and bank check, check in chess, and check meaning verification are considered homonyms, while they originated as a single word derived from chess in the 14th century. Psycholinguistic experiments have shown that homonyms and polysemes are represented differently within people's mental lexicon. While the different meanings of homonyms tend to interfere or compete with each other during comprehension, this does not usually occur for the polysemes that have semantically related meanings. Results for this contention, however, have been mixed. Verdictive polysemy means that each text is seen to generate a potentially infinite range of meanings, making, according to Richard Middleton, any homology, out of the most heterogeneous materials, possible. The idea of signifying practice a Eurotexts not as communicating or expressing a pre-existing meaning but as positioning subjects within a process of semiosis a Euro changes the whole basis of creating social meaning. One group of polysemes are those in which a word meaning an activity, perhaps derived from a verb, acquires the meanings of those engaged in the activity, or perhaps the results of the activity, or the time or place in which the activity occurs or has occurred. Sometimes only one of those meanings is intended, depending on context, and sometimes multiple meanings are intended at the same time. Other types are derivations from one of the other meanings that leads to a verb or activity. Examples man. The human species, males of the human species, adult males of the human species. This example shows the specific polysemy where the same word is used at different levels of a taxonomy. Example 1 contains 2, and 2 contains 3. Mole. A small burrowing mammal, consequently, there are several different entities called moles. Although these refer to different things, their names derive from one. For example, a mole burrows for information hoping to go undetected. Bank. A financial institution, the building where a financial institution offers services, a synonym for rely upon. It is different, but related, as it derives from the theme of security initiated by one. However, a riverbank is a homonym to one and two, as they do not share etymologies. It is a completely different meaning. Riverbed, though, is polysemous with the beds on which people sleep. Book. A bound collection of pages, a text reproduced and distributed, to make an action or event a matter of record. Newspaper. A company that publishes written news. A single physical item published by the company. The newspaper as an edited work in a specific format. The different meanings can be combined in a single sentence, for example. John used to work for the newspaper that you were reading. Milk. The verb milk derives from the process of obtaining milk. Wood. A piece of a tree, a geographical area with many trees. Crane. A bird, a type of construction equipment, to strain out one's neck. Related ideas. A lexical conception of polysemy was developed by B.T.S. Atkins, in the form of lexical implication rules. These are rules that describe how words, in one lexical context, can then be used, in a different form, in a related context. A crude example of such a rule is the pastoral idea of verbizing one's nouns, that certain nouns, used in certain contexts, can be converted into a verb, conveying a related meaning. Another clarification of polysemy is the idea of predicate transfer, the reassignment of a property to an object which would not otherwise inherently have that property. Thus, the expression "I am parked out back" conveys the meaning of parked from car to the property of "I possess a car." This avoids incorrect polysemous interpretations of parked, that people can be parked, or that I am pretending to be a car, or that I am something which can be parked. This is supported by the morphology. "We are parked out back" does not mean that there are multiple cars. Rather, that there are multiple passengers. See also, ambiguous grammar, heterosomy, homograph, idiom, metonymy, politely, pun, semantic change, troponymy, aberrant decoding. References. Further reading, Judens S., Bessner D. When Banking on Meaning is Not Money in the Bank, Explorations in Connectionist Modeling. Journal of Experimental Psychology, Learning, Memory, and Cognition 20, 1051 1062. doi, 10.1037/0278-7393.20.5.1051. Kawamoto A.H., Farah W.T., Kello Court. When Two Meanings Are Better Than One, Modeling the Ambiguity Advantage Using a Recurrent Distributed Network. Journal of Experimental Psychology, Human Perception and Performance 20, 1233 doi, 10.1037/0096-1523.20.6.1233. Borowski R., Masson M. J. Semantic Ambiguity Effects in Word Identification. Journal of Experimental Psychology, Learning, Memory, and Cognition 22, 63 €85 doi, 10.1037/0278-7393.22.1.63. Jastrzębski J.E. Multiple Meanings, Number of Related Meanings, Frequency of Occurrence, and the Lexicon. Cognitive Psychology 13, 278 €305 doi, 10.1016/0010-0285, 81, 90011-6. Rubenstein H., Garfield L., Millikan. Homographic Entries in the Internal Lexicon. Journal of Verbal Learning and Verbal Behavior 9, 487 €494 doi, 10.1016 per second 0022-5371, 70, 80091-3. O'Sullivan. A.L. Key Concepts in Communication and Cultural Studies. London, Routledge. ISBN 0-415-06173-3. Jamet, Dennis. Polysemy, first issue of Lexis, e-journal in English lexicology. External links: the dictionary definition of polysemy at Wiktionary, the dictionary definition of polysemy at Wiktionary.